So, this is going to be something that's not normally in my vein, but it was interesting, and I happen to be offered a key, so we take those and we go with those. This is Stygian, Outer Gods. What this is essentially a first-person survival horror experience, mostly based in Cthulhian mythos, as far as I am aware. I do believe they take it in their own direction a little bit. Allow me to verify my own statements here. Yeah, that is an accurate statement. Okay. I hate when I get those doubts the second I say something like that, but no matter how much I fact check beforehand, every now and then when I say something like that, my brain goes, "Are you sure about that?" And I have to double check myself. But yes, we are on track with that. As an aside, you'll notice a new chat box there. It's gonna need a bit of resizing still. Emotes and such appear a little too large on it, but it's in the process. And I figured I may as well test it out today and make sure it actually works. But the other main point I need to get to before any gameplay happens is, as per usual, both this game and the game we'll be playing after this both have been keys given to me through the service Lurkit. So obviously, take that as you will. We will be talking about the game as we go. There is a command to get a page to check out the game and all that good stuff as per usual as well. As the automated command that will pop up every hour to give you guys that same link in case people do not wish to press the buttons themselves. And I will, when each game is done, give you the link again, just to make sure everybody gets a shot at the link. Now, the little bit of time I spent with this was enjoyable. We'll see if it behaves itself as we go on stream, because obviously sometimes things decide to be funny when they're being demonstrated. But there's some very interesting ideas in here, and I do want to take a look at the options menu for all y'all right quick. Do bear in mind that the localizations are still a work in progress, because this is an early access game currently. You've got your usual toggle sprint, toggle crouch, good amount of control rebinding. As you can see, the controls themselves are not very complicated because it's a first-person game. Outside of immersive sims, your usual first-person games are not going to be that complicated. In terms of their direct controls, gamepad options are, of course, very similar to the keyboard and mouse controls. They actually have a decent amount of video settings. I do think there's a few more things they could put in here to help with the performance a little bit, because one little caveat I do want to point out is I did have a little bit of work I had to do to make it run smoothly on my setup. Obviously, everybody's setup's different, and I needed to make sure there was some overhead space for streaming is the main reason I had to do the extra work there, but just keep that in mind anyway. There will be a couple points where it will probably drop frame rate a little bit. That is more my machine than anything. There is a little bit of fiddle here, is even when I try to make these things as smooth as possible, I'm not an expert. Sometimes I make mistakes too. So I just want to get all of that out of the way ahead of time. We are not going to be using this save. This save is not real. That was testing. Ignore that. And let's get in there. Obviously, we will be sticking to the normal difficulty, but you do have 3 difficulties. Adventure. The unknown terrors are less punishing, allowing you to focus on unraveling the mystery. The default, Survival, faces a steady mix of exploration and challenge as the unknown looms just close enough to keep you on edge. And Nightmare. The veins of Kingsport will pump out bigger threats and obstacles, a war between the unknown and your mortality. Now, there is going to be a small caveat to me playing on the normal difficulty, and that is we are still going to have a bit of a rough time in a couple spots. just in the little bit I did play in testing. Though that will more than likely be my hubris than the game. Unfortunately, the load screens are quiet, but, you know, we'll roll with it. They don't last that long. It's already a rather unusual place to be. We probably shouldn't be here.
Wake up, Jack. Wake up.
Yeah, that pretty much confirms we shouldn't be here, huh? If he's trying to wake up, that means we're probably dreaming. Good news, everyone. We're lost in a weird, very square place. Did we fall into Minecraft? Maybe. Good news, our lighter works.
Not real. Open your eyes, you fool.
I mean, how can you be sure you're dreaming? Oh, looks very real. Just reach out and, like, taste the stone, see if it's real. Nope, whatever I saw wasn't there. Nope, Didn't see that. Absolutely not. This lighter does not work very well. And again, it's real bright out there, so I guess I don't need it. Yeah, that's just some light coming through. Okay.
What? Where have I seen this? Have I?
I don't know, have you? We don't have any context for what you have and haven't seen yet.
Oh, deja vu. I can almost hear his voice. Don't think, Jack. That's your mercy.
Yeah, the less you think about these things, the better off you are, usually. So we got a bunch of glowing holes, one with a rock in it that's lit up, and all the rest of them aren't lit up. So, you know, as most reasonable people would, we'll just jam the rocks in the holes and see what happens. Can't possibly go wrong for us, right? Well, what could possibly go wrong from just jamming a bunch of magic rocks in holes?
Touch it. What does it mean?
Couldn't possibly lead to everything bad happening to me or anything. No. This is also where you learn your controls, because you learn to duck under this, jump up where.
Yes, Africa. The cursed sanctuary of the Mbangu. Was it?
You know, I'm sure he understands what he's talking about.
No! Please! Father! One day I'll
That's
have
one
a
way to wake up.
night. Probably when I'm dead. Need to wash. Victoria will be here soon. After all these years.
You know, if you got somebody coming over, maybe you should have cleaned up the desk a little bit too. This is... I mean, it's not as bad as the worst my desk has ever been, but just, ugh. I suppose I should pick up the phone. Mr. Harrison, I'm glad you finally answered my call. I have been ever so patient. We don't get dialogue for these. I'll be reading it just to move it along so you don't have to look at all of this if you don't want to. Apologies, I've been busy. I shall sort out my father's affairs next week. His affairs will not matter soon. Can you feel it within? The stirring begins. I'm sorry? Who is this? Answer me this. Is chaos a necessity for a well-oiled world? So our options are chaos is a scourge, an unnecessary annoyance like this call. I would say we cannot exist without a modicum of it. What is this about? And as we've discussed in the past, much like light can't exist without dark, you kind of need some chaos to have context for anything else. So, sure, we can't exist without a modicum of it. Find me beyond the gate, before the black day. The eyes have seen your choice. Bear that in mind. That's gonna be important. Is this some kind of joke? I'm too tired for this nonsense. A deadline meets your irritation, sending an ominous chill up your spine. The collar is gone. Well, may as well put that down. Sure, that's nothing to worry about. The globe over here.
I've heard so much of this over the years. Some of the places won't even be on here.
It's got a good amount of stuff marked on here. Honestly, more than most globes would. Can't really do much with these books. Mostly because none of them actually have titles on their spines. They just have images. Got a bunch of chemical bottles over here, it looks like. Might be medicines of some kind. Got an iron. A well-stocked place we got here, I gotta say. Maybe a little more alcohol than absolutely necessary, but you know. October 3rd, 1920. Dear Jack, years have passed since our teenage escapades, so forgive my unexpected intrusion. I write with a strange request. Miskatonic University is funding an expedition to the fabled Kingsport, and I want you to join me. Stanley is unavailable, but suggested you may be interested when I share what he has discovered. Your skills will be invaluable, and did we not always make a fine team? I shall visit in a week. Victoria Fredkin. Well, that explains the origin of the visit he was talking about. A decent clock. Not entirely convinced it's working, even though it's ticking, considering nothing in it is moving. But, you know, best not to worry about it.
What a journey. Africa proved to hold our best and worst expedition.
Well, considering you were already talking about that in your nightmares, it kind of makes sense that that would be a problem. A door we can't open in our own rooms, apparently. I don't know if this is like his apartments or his office. I would assume apartments based on the bathroom here.
I need to find that damn draft.
Well, the flame on the candle's not helping me at all for finding the draft, but I'm going to assume it's not my problem. Yeah, decent reflection. A sack of flesh stares back, worn by years of intensity. The expeditions, the war, the nightmares. You ponder the truth behind the reflection. My metal, something sets me above other fleshly beings. So this is basically going to be your starting attribute set, for lack of a better way of putting it. We could go vitality comes naturally, I'm healthier than my kin. My brain is sharp yet hardy, a blade and shield in one. I am unexpendable, nothing can slow me down, or I am who I am, unchanged. So whatever the game's default is. We're gonna take brain is sharp yet hardy, because intelligence would... Well, it's a double-edged sword in situations like this, because if we think too hard about some of these things, we will go mad rather quickly. But thinking our way out of a problem may save our lives. Sanity increased by 20. Yet balance in all, the thing that sets me below my carnal ilk. So we can either have less vitality by I've always felt sickly, weighed down by my own flesh, or energy evades me, my living hours are taxing and slow. I'm gonna go ahead and take the I've always felt sickly, because the more stamina we have, presumably we can preserve that vitality that's lower. Whereas no stamina means we're just going to get pummeled by whatever we end up encountering. Health decreased by 20. Fright is a natural response of mortality, but I do not fear the infliction of pain, war on the mind, or nature's harsh touch. So, mental damage, physical damage, or I guess like elemental damage probably? Since we already raised our sanity, it seems only fitting that we do not fear the war of the mind. Insanity resistance up by 10%. This vacant gap of fear must be filled, as I've discovered. By what? Let's go with the elemental forces I cannot fight, though, because I feel like doubling down on physical weakness would be a terrible idea. Cold resistance decreased by 10%, fire resistance decreased by 10%. My adventurous youth bore much curiosity. Above all, one thing intrigued most. People and how to work them, the intricate battle with locks and what they hide, or the very thing I dislike, the occult, the unknown. So this is basically going to be our starting skill point. And I feel like in a world like this, the most interesting thing to be skillful in would be the occult. Second place being lockpicking, which is what the intricate battle with locks means, in case people can't piece that one together. But we'll go with the occult. Yep, occult skill level up increased by 1. I tire of this visage before me. But lastly, something impedes my interests. The complexities of the humans around me, or when I cannot be my own key to a lock. Let's go ahead and not be good with people. There we go, speech skill decreased by 1. I see myself, Jack Harrison, tired and aged, wearing the past. You could obviously go back through all this again if you want to, which is nice, because since they're not telling you what the answers mean, even though they're fairly self-explanatory, it's nice that you can reset that in case you choose options you don't like. And obviously you're not hard locked in by any of this, because you can grow as the game proceeds. The eyes saw your choice, and your sink is full of blood. Because that's normal, right?
No.
Hmm.
I woke up. I'm awake. I'm awake.
Yeah. Yep. Best not to worry about that too much, eh? Clock's still not working. That's probably not right. Anybody else noticing the ceiling kind of weird? That's not ideal.
You've lost it.
I mean, he does look like he lost his card. Yeah, it's stuck up there and he can't reach it. Pretty sure this isn't here normally, though. I'm pretty sure he doesn't just have a dude with one leg chained to his bed. That'd be a little much for the day-to-day living. A lot of cigarettes, too. Probably should stop that. These candles are a fire hazard, too. But these cards are very important to us, as these determine a variety of bonuses for you. In our particular case, we have all of these options in front of us here right now. Heavy Strike, which allows you to do heavy attacks by holding the attack button. Stealth Master, which makes you completely silent when you're walking around. Perfect Block, which gives you parrying, essentially. Speak with Dead, which allows you to talk to the willing dead, which is very interesting. Leverage allows the lifting of heavier objects, which does actually come up rather quickly. I did see a spot for that pretty much immediately. Backstab, which it does exactly what it would say on the tin. Do extra damage from behind. Artifact Knowledge allows the usage of artifacts, as you'd expect. And Attentiveness, which we do not have access to, highlights interactive of items when scrying, because we need scry to use Attentiveness. Now, in testing, I grabbed Artifact Knowledge, and it does really fit with our occult stuff and everything else I was talking about to take Artifact Knowledge. It is tempting to take Leverage because of Foreknowledge, but I'm going to stick with Artifact usage. Now, we're locked in on that decision. We cannot actually change what that card is assigned to now. And you'll notice everything's gone back to normal. Cigarettes are still here. Still kind of a problem he's got. He's got even more books under his bed. Less fire hazards, aside from the lamp. And we have our guest.
Jack, are you quite all right? Forgive me for barging in, but I heard the most dreadful shouting.
You know, just tripping a bit, it's fine. Victoria, I'm fine. You look well.
I was always attuned to your lies. When your father was still here, he told Stanley, and therefore me, of your otherworldly night terrors.
I'm glad
It
everybody...
is good to see you.
I'm glad everybody's gossiping about the fact that I have horrible nightmares. Wonderful. Yeah, what are we doing here?
The invite lied. Kingsport's mysteries croon to me, yet Stanley refuses like he's my actual father. You always had my back. I thought it could be the same now.
I feel like it's pointless to say Stanley doesn't know where you're going, because of course he does know exactly where she's going, considering she told him about Kingsport. if she disappears after a conversation like that, obviously she went to Kingsport. That just seems like a given. Right? Right. Why us?
Most hesitate to utter Kingsport, so convincing them is a trial. Plus, my trust is sparse. We are estranged, Jack, but not strangers. I hope.
Fair enough.
But in case my hopes dash against the rocks, your father is alive. Stanley insists Percival is in Kingsport. If not for me, come for him.
Why didn't you lead with that? Why did you hold that until you were questioned? See, seems suspect a little bit, but sure, why not?
There's that spark of enthusiasm, just as I remember. A sturdy little vessel waits at the docks for us, and a few other curious minds. Then, Kingsport. Our journey will not be short. The waters of Arkham are restless. Are you ready for an adventure? Like old times?
I'm pretty sure there's nothing we can do here. And we could gab about Kingsport for a while, but I feel like background information about where we're going isn't going to much matter. And you'll understand why soon. Let's go. A month's search, a bond unlost in the eyes of the storm, Kingsport watched, November 7th, AD 1920. This may be a little loud, because I can't actually control cutscene volume, so just bear with it. Nothing I did seemed to change the volume here. But thankfully, it's only that little moment there, so... all else should be fine and balanced and well. And get used to us waking up like this. I feel like we're gonna be doing that a bit. But hey, we're alive.
Victoria! Victoria! By some cruel mercy, I'm alive.
What a mess. Doesn't look great around here, huh? Like we're on a junky mess of broken dock. If our ship crashed, there's no sign of it anywhere nearby, but there's a bunch of sunken town back that way. Which is odd. Maybe that's the ship we came from back there? Possible. Good night, ABC. There's a hole through the area under the lighthouse there. Yeah, looking at this, I think I might need it. Black Day waits. It's like the third time we've heard about the Black Day. I'm sure that's not going to be anything to worry about. Not entirely, just a new chat box over there. Just gonna get these crates out of my way.
Another body. Wait, no. This poor fellow still comes to life.
I was a little worried it was gonna be a little too simple, but I also didn't want to make it too complicated. This chair looks better up here. Nope, I said it looks better up here. Not like anybody's using it anyway. Sounds good. Stealing all the things. Dearest Mark, a small check-in. I pray that Charlie remains well, for the open air must surely be kinder than the war's ashen remnants. How fares little Joanna? Does she remain a cherub, or has the untamed spirit of childhood risen? Seems she has been a true guiding light to Charlie. I await word of his progress. As ever, my deepest gratitude, Marie. And put the candles out. You do not look like you're doing well, friend. Definitely have a gut wound of some kind, don't you?
Well, he's dead. Real shame. He will be missed.
Not quite yet, but he's definitely on his way there. The wan hue of pain colors this man's sickly skin. As he shifts, you notice a deep gash under his shirt, still weeping life's essence. So, I'm totally here to help, yes. Mark, Mark, is that you? Has Joanna returned? There's naught but void. Why can't... and I see nothing. Help me, Mark. I don't know who you are, but maybe I'll find something to fix that hole in your stomach. We'll see. No guarantees of any of that.
Kingsport looks deserted. Is that a corpse?
That's definitely a corpse.
Where in the hell have I washed up?
Can't help but notice that they've been adjusting the population numbers recently. That's probably not great.
The fabled Kingsport. Already writhing with strangeness.
Well, nothing for it but to take this knife, because it'll probably be more useful to us than it will be to this man's neck. Weirdly clean for it being jammed in a dead man's neck, but best not to worry about it. If we had better lockpicking, we could obviously get through this door as is, but we cannot. That's also what these wire coils are here for, because you can make a lockpick that way. No sense in walking around with a knife in our hands. Can't go that way. There's like some kind of bone statue there. Based on the growling, though, maybe I should have this knife out. Hello? Signs of life?
Not deserted after all. At least not by feral mutts.
Oh? Our first taste of combat. A very ill-kept dog. There we go. He's sorted out. Do not let him hit you. His bleeding is very much a thing in this game, and it can come on you very easily. Marino, I'll put this plainly. The amendment's been passed, and the powers that be are tightening the noose on all our throats. If you want the supply to keep flowing into that sorry excuse of a pub you call a business, you have to cough up. P.S. Don't bother threatening me with Waxface and his goons. Send whatever lackey you want to pick this up. He has no authority in Kingsport. Seems like that's went well for whoever used to be here. Considering, that. Wow, that went all the way through into the board, too, and that was definitely a harpoon at one point. Yikes. Real shame for him. Doesn't look like there's anything else here. We can open the door that was barred from us before, because we're on the inside of it. Now, neat thing I can do, because I have some occult skill, is we can interact with this totem. The boon is unveiled. You'll notice there's a thing sparkling there. And you may recognize this spot, because we were here not that long ago. Because I know where that is. And I will show you exactly where I mean. Is if we run over this way, next to the shack. Because I actually found this without the scrying and testing. It's right over here. There's just a box right there. With a couple rags and a stamina stimulant in it. Don't walk in the water, by the way. I'll demonstrate why not. Oh, it's not doing it this time. Interesting. I was getting, like, super cold when I was in the water before. I guess it... You know what? Best not to worry about it too much. I'm sure it's fine. But here at the workbench, you can make bandages and lockpicks. And you'll notice they take completely different resources, so there's no point in worrying about avoiding making one to be able to make the other. Let's go ahead and make the bandage and the lockpick. We don't have a lot of lockpicking, so the lockpicks aren't going to be super useful to us right now. But we don't have anything else to use those parts for anyway. We can fix him, though. Is Joanna safe? Is she safe? Did something happen to her? Because I certainly don't know. Mark, is that you? And you'll notice here, if we had good speech, we could lie and claim to be his friend Mark. We are not able to do that, though. We'll just be honest with him. Jack, I'm so sorry. It's my fault. Bring her back. The dark weighs on my eyes. Help me. You don't know what he did, but whatever it was, it gnaws at him. A peculiar twisting guilt. Either way, he won't be long for this world. We could dig into this more. We could give him the bandage to make him comfortable for a little bit longer. But if he's guaranteed to die, I don't really see a reason to burn our finite resources on him. But maybe there's hope. Maybe there's a chance for him to live. We can probably find more rags anyway. You bind his wound and his form slackens slightly. With half-lidded eyes, he pulls a key from his pocket. You claim it as he utters his final words. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't mean to. So he definitely did something to Joanna then. What? Good question. Could be whatever got him that gut wound. May have, like, lashed out and hurt her, and then someone else did him in. Got options there. The important thing is we have the key for the door over here now. That seems fine. Just a meeting of the villagers, right?
Some sign of life. You there? I need help.
Oh boy. Going back to sleep. Remember what I said about us falling asleep a bunch? Yeah. There's gonna be a fair few times like that, probably. That's the only other one I know about, though. I didn't go much further than this in testing. There's gonna be a lot of bumbling around after the next little bit at here.
Steady now. I do not want to see your brain leak out of all your orifices.
Yeah, that probably would be a memorable if unpleasant sight, huh?
You're not fully shielded against the unknown. It's a miracle your brain hasn't outright recoiled.
There's definitely something wrong here. I don't think this is a good place to be.
There are no boats, and do not forget your father. Something dark brews here. But perhaps an opportunity has risen. A true expedition.
Nothing I say is going to talk her out of this, so we may as well at least find out what her plan is to see whether it's going to be viable.
A festering malaise flows from the Brasco's mansion. I can feel it. We must be untouched due to my occult resistance and your fortitude.
I don't know if you can really call it fortitude when I just keep passing out. But I guess I didn't die or go mad, so there's something to that, I guess.
While you dozed, I snooped. The gate is sealed, and by no mundane means. Occult magic. 3 tablets is what we need to find. The note by the door may help. He shall, without surprise. Trouble was our specialty. I wish mine could see me. The real ones, I mean. What would she think? Let's do this.
Yep, time to go then.
Oh, and if you desperately need me but cannot be fussed to trek back, try the phones. Ludicrous, but I have a feeling.
So I suppose if I just pick up the phone, somehow she'll answer the other end.
Are there shadows beyond the glass? No, just a trick of light.
These are our save points, though. You break them to save the game. Because breaking mirrors is never a bad idea, right? Take note of the fact that there's actually a status icon that pops up when you turn these on. I would presume that'll buoy our sanity a bit, because it tends to do so in these settings. Nothing too interesting to see up here. Some pictures of people we would have no way of knowing, considering we're not from around here. We do have a storage box to put stuff in. We have no real reason to put anything in there right now, because you have a decent amount of inventory. Workbench here again, of course. Mark, it's done. Us keepers finally pulled off something worth a damn. Even that other Brasco Irwin lent a hand. Guess he's coming around. Fingers crossed his magic keeps it shut, for safekeeping. Irwin, corporate hovel. Me, next to the king's color. Never ceases to be ugly. Big Joe still renting. He says he's got a great idea to hide it. Very concerning. Vin. So I presume that's where the items we need are hidden. Because if we come over here...
A damp map. How convenient.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second.
One hell of a house. Wish we knew what's within.
You'll notice we need 3 pieces, 3 tablets to open the door to get to the mansion back there, which is the Brasco mansion that she mentioned, presumably. But this map that he was just talking about is our actual map of the world here, or rather, of the town, with a couple key points marked on it. Specifically, a bunch of occult oddities, which I presume are the markers for where the tablets are, considering that's the quest we have. Hey, you also get a portrait of Jack over here, which I'm going to assume is probably going to degrade with our stats degrading over here. I didn't really look into that because I didn't do too much. Kingsport Keeper's Weekly Bulletin. The Great War may have ceased, but strict alcohol measures will remain in place. Any Brasco stock will be confiscated. Reports of erratic episodes among locals have climbed. The sick are encouraged to isolate. Please stop tossing bodies into the sea. It's starting to smell. A reminder that it is prohibited to climb to the house on the crag. The cliffs are unstable. We've had to throw multiple people into the sea when they fell off the cliff. Now, what do we got here? Mysterious herb. I'm sure that'll be healthy for me. I'm sure nothing bad will happen when I just eat a random herb I found on the ground. Now, take note of the fact that the house we came out of has these green lamps hanging from it. I suspect that this is going to be an indicator of something. Because in the little bit of testing I did, I've not seen very many locations with those lamps. But the only other location I encountered that had them seemed to be another safe spot. That door is a no-go. Alright. Well, if a door doesn't work, a ledge works just as well, right? Right. I am willing to presume that there's fall damage, so I wouldn't want to just blindly leap all the way down. Ooh. Some golden teeth. Now, you'll remember we picked up some teeth while we were in the previous section as well. So that'll be worth keeping in mind, because gold teeth are presumably going to be our currency. For one reason or another. And you might be wondering why I'm sneaking. Well, there's a variety of reasons for that, chief among them being... we saw the witches around in town, and I'm willing to bet that they're going to be all over the place. Yep, there's one right there. Working away on that wagon for one reason or another. Or eating somebody. One of the two. Either way, staying up there doesn't seem to be to our benefit. I didn't get this last time, because this is actually a different path than I took when I was playing before. And this definitely seems like it'll be more effective than that knife. Perhaps that's why I was having trouble. I went the wrong way. Because the way I went had a lot more witches. And a lot more problems. Which is why I chose to take a different route. Also forgot to do a thing, so give me one quick second to fix something. Oh no, I did fix that. I have no idea why... ah, well, never mind. I don't know why I thought I didn't change that. Either way, a bit of stealth will do us good regardless here. I would not want to have to redo all of the things we've done since that save point, which wasn't much, but it's still enough to be annoying. Trust me when I say we don't want to tangle with one of those witches if we don't have to. Is the phone ringing now of all times? The dreaming soldier, the tainted explorer. Good day, isn't Kingsport quaint? A marvelous sea coast and the buildings, antediluvian. You're the one who called my father's house. I told you to find me, and here you are. Amid the chaos, you need an ally. Let's say you are an ally. What is this? The thread is woven and cannot be cut, but maybe it can be rerouted. Doom or doom, yet one tinted with chance. The soldier in the red mist can choose, but enter they must. Enter what? The phone is silent. Well, don't you just love it when phones randomly ring and give you riddles? I know I do. These bottles will be more useful than you might give them credit for being that they are empty bottles. Not for what you might expect them to be useful for. Well, depends on what you expect, really. But I'll explain when we're out in the open again why these bottles are going to be very important to us. Ah, journal. Property of Daniel Upton. Please return if lost. Ideas for Daniel Upton's notes. Greetings, you whimsical vessels of human mundanity. Too simple. Greetings, all beneath the stars, we who are mere specks in the vast doom. Rambling. Greetings, futile lackeys and thralls who are playthings to the unknown and slowly drowning the fetid doom. Too intense. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and any eldritch entities watching us from the void. A contender, gracious yet nuanced. Guess they were getting ready to make a speech. And, well, don't think they have to worry about their speech now, huh? I think that might be a little past the point here. Some more gold teeth on the table. I'm keeping low because I don't know how far those witches can hear. And I'd rather not have one come wandering in to surprise me. I say as I start flinging furniture around the room. Ooh. That's a potentially useful symbol. And there's also just a human skull. Why is it glowing? I presume it has a purpose if it's glowing like that. Pinned food and such, it looks like. Bin full of stuff. Book. Village Inn guest book. Guest Big Joe Littleman. Room 2. Check-in May 5. Extended stay. Check-out hasn't happened yet. Guest Daniel Upton. Room 3. Check-in July 25th. Check-out July 26th. Note to self, do not let the dark-haired boy upstairs again unless he has a parent with him. There's been a kid running around on the inn where he shouldn't be without parents. And Daniel Upton only was here for a day, but left his journal behind. So perhaps sometime around the 26th is when everything went sideways? That'd be a logical connecting point, though perhaps a little too quick to jump to that conclusion at the moment. Need a triangle key to open the triangle door. That just makes sense. Finding quite a few goodies. You may notice it's stuttering a little bit. Again, this is all part of the mild performance issues I was talking about. That's definitely bones in there. So what do I want this skull for? Like, there's a whole string of skulls here, but I don't seem to be able to bring him together with the rest. So this must have a function somewhere. But where? Perhaps upstairs, because we haven't been upstairs yet. Oh, there's another mirror up here. And there's a different glowing skull.
Why do people tamper with such horrors?
Oh, I know what to do here. Human shape, human skull. Bird skull, bird circle. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a bad idea. Oh, I presume the sigil resets the puzzle, probably. Since it says roll back on it. And we do have a save point here, so let's go ahead and save before I finish toying with the occult here. We also learned the recipe for a splint. Which I'm sure that will come in handy, probably more often than I would like it to. More goodies. Whoever boss sends, I'm chasing down scabs who have taken back the safe we confiscated. They're brewing and peddling unsanctioned drugs, I know it. Had one of them cornered, the little freak spat at me. Even after a beating, and all he said was the code is invisible to your small mind. I've searched that damn ugly yellow house from top to bottom. How can it be invisible? Addiction's talking probably. No, I think he might have hit the nail on the head saying your mind is too small. Apparently I'm allowed to try to lockpick this? Yep, broke my lockpick doing that. I guess maybe if your skill's too low, you still have a chance, but maybe just not a good chance. Would make some sense. Is the last skull in here? Well, I found something close to a skull. Now will you be good? Yes, sir. Weird. Definitely a little bit weird. And again, the dead are usually very well behaved. Can't really be a problem if you can't do anything, right? You know, plus or minus the dead getting up and walking around where they shouldn't. Joe, I'm unimpressed you were not in your room when I knocked, playing hero with the other mortals. You shall help me. You will go to room 0, and when I return, you shall listen to my plan. Frank. Huh. Okay. There's the horned skull we need. Now, I have no idea what we need all this for. I have not done this before, so, this could easily go badly, but considering the triangle in the middle of the symbol here, I'm kind of banking on this giving me the key. Oh, that door didn't exist before. That doesn't seem good. Seem to be a little less than ideal here, but yeah, I'm just gonna not look over there right now. Another stranger comes to our world. I'm not gonna treat him as a child because he's clearly not acting like a child. So either he is something else in a child's body, or he's a child that's been through some shit and is not really a child anymore. A waste of a question. I've been watching you, and I have my own question you will answer. Sure. The witches, I know you've dallied with them. Does your mortal heart loathe them? Loathe is a strong word. I've only kind of bumped into them while they were doing a weird dance and somebody was screaming, and then I passed out. I don't really have any information to work with there. They have been corrupted, twisted into beings of malice with no humanity left. Well, if they've been twisted, there might be a chance to turn that around, right? Stupid man. They are unsalvageable. What does pity win you? What if, though? Fool, you will come to your senses soon. Take leave, mortal. I assume if I played along, I'd probably get the key that he's clearly holding there. Because that's very clearly a pyramid. Actually, yeah, because it's a pyramid, not a triangle, so maybe that's not what I need. Fool, thought I was clever using Frank's hideout. The witches nor the shadow men can find me. But here's the joke, it doesn't matter because this stone is going to kill me anyway. I should not have agreed. Frank will help, yes, he can use his magic and save me. I just need to keep my eyes open. That clearly didn't work out. That's the guy who said he had a clever plan for where to hide his piece. Yeah. Didn't work out very well. It's coming. We cannot stop it. Well, this guy certainly couldn't stop it. Thanks for the tablet. Apparently I was supposed to find this one second, but, well, I found it first. Glowering eyes see through you. The boy will talk on his terms, and that is not now. Fair enough. If I move one of these, does this close? Can I, like, just put you back in your weird portal world? No. No. Once it's activated, huh? Okay. I'm sure that won't have consequences in the future. Go ahead and take all this stuff. Sure, this won't end poorly. Beyond the Vale of Kingsport, beyond the Vale of Kingsport, beyond the kiss of mist, O traveler with whispers yield tryst. Dreamers are plenty who ramble in folly, they just need their sleep, their thumb and a dolly. I, Captain the Terrible who lives all alone. The beggar ain't tough, he just needs a crone. And Tabitha, oh Tabitha, paint us a swirl. Your art is so pretty, you sweet red-headed girl. Beyond the veil of Kingsport, beyond the kiss of mist, O traveler, you cannot resist. That seems like it should be a normal song, but under the circumstances, I suspect there might be something more to it. Well then.
What I'd give for some fish and chips and a pint. Don't think, Jack.
It's understandable to be hungry under the circumstances. You got dredged out of the sea, presumably. And now you're going through all of this. It's definitely hungry work, that's for sure. I do appear to be running out of options otherwise, so perhaps I may have to enter into conflict with one of these witches. Alternatively, let me teach you what I was talking about with the bottles. It makes noise, which attracts the witches, but you'll notice it attracts all of the witches in the general vicinity. So use them carefully. Thankfully, they're not the most attentive of creatures. So they don't always catch on to the fact that a bottle is what made the noise. Take note of that symbol in the left there. That shows you how much you're being seen by something. Something else is seeing me. I don't know what. Might even still be the same one, they're just catching a glimpse of me through the boards. They should be facing where they were before now, so they shouldn't be my issue anymore. I just wanted to make sure I had the cover over here before I made a move. I'm gonna try to avoid conflict with those things if I can help it, as I mentioned before. At least for the time being. I will demonstrate why a little bit later.
Brasco's. Never heard of them. At least not in England.
Enough. We've heard plenty about Brasco's at this point. Considering the name's been mentioned how many times since we got here? It's like the most mentioned name out of everything around here. Okay, so this didn't accomplish anything except getting me on the other side of this blocked door. Huh. Nope, can't break it. At least not yet. So presumably, I need to find something magical, perhaps, or perhaps just fire to burn those weird magic vines. Hard to say, really. We'll figure that out if we are going to figure it out at all. And yep, this is leading us back. Another dog. Poor thing, had to put him down. Can't break those with this either. What good is this thing if I can't even break a flimsy board with it? I guess I need something heavier. But on the bright side, we can open the main door there. And we can tinker with another totem that we probably have no business toying with. Notice it did cost some sanity, and we still don't see the results. Now we get that bolt out of the way and we can actually go back to our base of operation for a second. And drop off the tablet we picked up. Ta-da! Let the gramophone restore our sanity. Because we did take a little bit of sanity damage when we failed that ritual there, I think. Based on the fact that we had our brain on screen there for a moment. I would presume that's what happens. Like some manner of arcane backlash or something if you do it wrong. Which I don't know if it would be a matter of just trying a few more times to make that work. Based on it being a Cult 4, I would assume more than a level out of your range is probably not going to be viable to try to do. Frame rate's getting a little spiky here because I'm moving around a little too quick. That's the other reason why I'm doing this slow and careful, is because you've seen how the frame rate can be a little rough. So the more I go flying around like a crazy person, it won't actually play as well as it could otherwise. You have resources. Here's the thought. Bring her here, so it's less likely to attract the other one. And I'll demonstrate some combat against a harder opponent. Now, you'll note she has a sickle of her own, and that's what makes them a harder opponent. Is one hit, and most of my health is gone. 2 hits, I am basically dead. And I don't have the stamina to keep this fight going. But down she goes all the same. They're not unkillable, but they hit very hard. Like, basically... like, near... something around 40 hit points? No, because it couldn't have been 40 hit points each, because we would be dead after that, so probably 30? Except I think we did regen a little bit. Yeah, because you'll notice that heart's increasing. Oh, but that's not actually the health bar restoring. No, that's just blinking now. That's not actually restoring at this point. Thankfully, that's what these herbs are for. Munch, munch. Now it restores. But you'll notice you only got 8 hit points out of the herb. They don't do a lot for you. So don't go picking a lot of fights unless you're prepared to be very careful with your stamina. Or you grab something like Heavy Blow or something, which probably helps you deal with those witches a bit more efficiently than we can. It's an old sea mine. It'll explode. I have offended the local population, and I gotta go. Thankfully, as you can see, as long as the eye isn't red anymore, they're not alerted to where you currently are. As long as you just get away from where they got alerted to and they can't see you anymore, you can just duck them. But we took sanity damage from that. Presumably the scream they do does sanity damage. Or he's just terrified from being hunted. Which is fair. And we lost 40 sanity from that, so we gotta be careful doing things like that as well. Oh, she's still hanging around, too. Here. Go look over there. There's definitely something much more interesting to look at over there. Really hope she stays interested over there long enough for us to get to the door. I'll give you a hint, she didn't. She definitely didn't. I don't know if they can open doors, but we're gonna find out. Methinks. Oh wait, she might not be smart enough to get to the door before she loses track of me. That is a lot of sanity damage we took, though. But we got into the blacksmith, so... Which this is probably not going to help our sanity particularly. Especially since, that's not particularly readable. Gonna assume that's not really, regular lettering. Oh, you're not dead, huh? You have witnessed torture aplenty in your years of conflict, but this is depraved, something beyond human hostility. Wakey wakey. Kill me already, Bethan. If there's a scrap of you that clings. God, you're conscious? You, a man? I thought none remained standing. You've got to get me out. Of course, where's the key? I think I forged these chains long ago, and perhaps even the key, a forced jest of my own making. If it has escaped this forsaken smithy, then I'm doomed. Oh, guess we've got a key to look for. He would certainly be a valuable resource if he is in fact the blacksmith, and it would also be the first person that we can actually talk to around here. Miss, how do we get past this door? I presume there's gonna be an external access point, because there's nothing else we can really do anything with in here, it seems. Which is gonna make me having aggravated that witch outside a bit more of a problem, potentially, but maybe I can do something clever. It doesn't look like going up there would go anywhere, so I don't know why I'm fixating on this, aside from my usual shenanigans. Because there are areas where you can jump around to. I found that in testing as well. Just not here, it seems. Unless you... No, you probably can't squeeze out through that window. It's very small, and it's also got a lot of sharp glass in it. Probably a bad idea. I'm gonna put these candles out. Maybe that'll make you a little more comfortable. Probably not, but, you know. That's all I can do for you right now. I presume the witch went back to her original starting location, which is back to our right here. Nope, she's right there on the other side of the door. Let it be known, here rests a truly miserable creature of the abhorrent sex, a man who deserves to be chained by his own audacity like the rest of its male species. It may not perish in these bonds, its biological curse is endless punishment. Yikes. A lot of layers to unpack with that, and probably best not to unpack them right now. Nope, that ain't gonna work. Also, she's definitely aware of my presence. Gotta go! Yeah, this door is also blocked. We're gonna run out of sanity at this rate, though, so I'm gonna go back to the house and let our sanity come back a little bit. Otherwise, we are probably gonna have a bad time. Because each time we escape like that, it's getting worse. I can already hear the whispering, which is probably not a good sign, and the amount of blurro vision happening here is just not great on the eyes. Now you're just chilling reading a book, huh, while I'm doing all of this. Oh wow, that gave us back all of our sanity immediately. Convenient.
You clearly have not lost your expeditionary skill. Alive and breathing.
Got the yellow tablet.
Well, 2 to go, and remember, Brasco's HQ and, well, I haven't a spark about the King's color.
Oh, there's a couple options for that. It could be the King in yellow, which would be yellow, or it's whatever the color of the local king is, which could be a few things.
What have you found? They are definitely imbued with a force that amplifies the self. that enhances the mortal threads. Still skeptical of the occult?
Less than I would like to be. What are the teeth for?
Delightful. And you've collected them with your bare hands. How charming. No, I haven't a clue.
Very helpful.
What draws your curiosity?
A lot of things, but none you can answer. Seems like getting our health back is not really going to be a thing that's going to happen without using items. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to heal, like, with the bed or something. So it's just as well that I found a lot of rags. Because if I make another silly mistake, we're probably going to need enough health to take a hit. So you'll notice that even the bandages don't heal a lot. So you may not want to be using them too heavily. But back down to the town we go. Bottles that I missed.
My head can't take a repeat of earlier.
Did they move, or did I go in a different way this time? I feel like I went in a different way this time. Uh-oh. Gotta go. So a different angle of attack may benefit us in terms of getting to where we're going. Folk of Kingsport, are you skilled in mining and manual labor? Do you want a secure and steady income in these hard times? Do you want to contribute to a cause that would change the world? And Brasco's Trading Company needs you. We humbly request hard-working miners to assist in the deeper excavation of the Kingsport mines. Any interested parties should visit the Brasco's office and speak to Erwin Brasco. Okay, so they are a full-on trading company, as expected. And yeah, there's the witches doing a ritual there. Yeah, this is back where I went originally. When I was testing this out to begin with. So I do know my way around here. What you do is you take this box, you hop on this box, and you get up there. What do you do when you get up there? Well, you'll find out when we get there. I don't remember what all was around up here. I just remember the pathing up here. Yesterday they sealed the house of my former neighbors, the Collette family. I've been trying to help their sickness, assuming it's a strain of the flu. But modern medications didn't help the delirium. I was informed they've disappeared. In their vulnerable states, they must have wandered into the night and have not been seen since. As free as I am from foolish superstitions, I can't shake one thing. The father kept repeating, "Take our faith," and his youngest boy mumbled about going on the barge. People don't just vanish. Now the question is it a physical barge or like a metaphorical barge? That's an important question to ask. More bottles. They're either like doing a spell with that totem, they're worshipping it, or something. The spiky thing there in the middle, next to the torch. As to what the deal with it is, I haven't the slightest idea. I don't like it. That much I can tell you right now. This Brasco barrel here, this is what you need leverage for, is to be able to move this barrel out of the way and find out what's behind it. Without that, you have to kind of hop down here, or hop down over here. Which, with the amount of witches here, I don't really know if you want to hop down on this side, if I'm honest with you. Doesn't really seem like a life expectancy increasing move to do that. Of course, we can do the old standard. Eat. That did not go as far as I wanted it to. So I keep forgetting you can charge your throw. So you know what? I want to test something. That also didn't go as far as I expected it to. Okay, yeah, they just immediately get pissed at you if you hit them with the bottle. That's what I thought. I needed to know. I know it wasn't a good idea, but I needed to know. It cost us some sanity, but now we know. If you whack them upside the head with a bottle, they get real mad at you. And now they're wandering around, which might be the opposite of what we wanted. But I do still have a bottle left. Actually, I've got multiple bottles left. They seem to only stack to 3. And when you run out of a stack, it stops doing its thing. Okay, they went back to their little ritual. Presumably I need the same thing that can open the other boards to open that. Actually, hang on. I found something over here. I didn't notice this last time. This may be a better direction. A far better direction. Nothing else here. There's yet more path to follow. Another bottle. Oh, that's alcohol, not just a bottle. Sanity protection, I presume? No, it's a resource for crafting. Be a sailor or an arsonist, this is true love. Highly flammable. Yeah, that checks.
The ash is still dry in the air. War, but a different kind.
Guess this house burned. Based on the way the floor looks and the very clear misshapen bit there. Oh, this spits us out where we were before, because there's the inn where we just were before. Okay. The witch that was here... Oh, right, that's the one we took down. And for demonstration purposes. Makes sense, then. Guess we'll snag the planks and the herb. More dead people. Bear in mind there's another witch right over there. But I think that's one of the ones doing the ritual, so as long as we don't make too much of a ruckus, she shouldn't notice our existence. And the one over there is just kind of confused. Okay, whoop. I don't know if I was making too much noise or if I was in line of sight. I think I was just within line of sight. Either way, it was a good time to hit the deck. Rags. Can't move these chairs. I can make them rock, though, which is interesting. Squeeze our way through here, though, which is what I wanted to do the whole time. Scrap metal, mushrooms. I have no idea if these mushrooms are going to do anything positive for me, but they're pick-upable, so I'm going to pick them up. I'm going to try to find another way into that blacksmith, but for now we've got a lot of other places to check. We may very well find what we need to get into the blacksmith shop from the other angle somewhere else anyway. And based on our current knowledge of what we need to do, we technically don't need to save him either. Though I suspect, as I said before, saving him will be useful to us. Oh, that's the gate we opened back at the beginning. So right about here is where we passed out before. Rags, dead fish.
The fish looks sickly.
To be fair, they've also probably been sitting here since this whole mess started, because I doubt anybody's been doing any new fishing, nor has anybody had time to clean the fish. She is absolutely going to see me if I try to go that way, but it's also blocked off anyway. But I'm willing to bet you got to go through there to get to the door where the key for the blacksmith is, almost certainly. Looks like this Fisher house is not going to be something we can access right now. And it's not looking like there's anything too exciting in there either. At least not from what we can see. Osborne's store, yeah. Unless I can, like, mountain goat my way up here. Nope, it's got invisible walls. Another harpoon in this guy. You know, that's an interesting thought, actually. Got a bunch of guys with harpoons in them, but the witches use sickles. So where's the ones with the harpoons? Who uses those? Because whoever uses those killed the others. You know, that is a yellow building right there. Kick the fucking box. There's a level 4 totem here. I'm willing to assume that this building is the one I need, the one that's the king's color. It probably is referring to the king in yellow. Nope, this boon is hidden from us as well. So that was pointless. So there must be a way to get into here. It's a big building too, so presumably there'll be quite a bit for us in here if we can get in. Front door is definitely not an option with the amount of boarding it's taken. My first instinct was to try to clamber up there, but none of the windows are open. So I presume we have to go where the witch over here is in order to get in. Through some alternative means. Yeah, because there's just the witch patrolling back and forth there, and there's the open door. As long as we just slip by, we'll be perfectly fine. And in we are. No problems to worry about. Except this doesn't seem to lead a lot of anywhere. So that's a slight problem, unless there's something more useful on the other side here. Not through that door, that's for sure. Oh, there's a dog. Okay. I was trying to figure out what was seeing me. Oh, there's multiple dogs, in fact. Don't mind me. I'm not here. I'm not real. I will say, unless there's another way out of here, we are gonna have to deal with those dogs on the way back out. Which does make this less than my finest plan. But I found a first aid kit, so that's good.
Solemn. No surprise there.
But just put this here. If for nothing else, to make myself feel better. Probably not going to accomplish anything. Now, there's another way out of here. So, all of the month. 2 salmon, 6 trout, 1 thing with tentacles, 2 bodies, like last month, sick folk. So that's somebody who doesn't know how to spell, but gets the right idea. He's spelling it how it sounds. And he gets the words mostly right. Pretty close. definitely seen people spell all those words worse. There's another house with green lights. We did still not get into the yellow house, but one problem at a time. Can't go in there. More of those weird vines. I can go in the outhouse and just get more rags. Don't really know if I want them, because I assume people have been using it as shit paper, but I'll take what I can get. And will you work tomorrow? We can unearth more of them stones. It weakens my bladder to think of. I shan't wet my breeches as my old bat would laugh, and I fear I'd have to knock her remaining pegs out. The staggering dreams we've had since we struck them rocks, last night was a stark plain, and what I thought was to be swaying grass in the moon's light were giant spiders of grotesque design. I wish it were more than glimpses. I pray you feel better after last week's faint spell down below. I'm sure it was lack of airflow. Jude. That doesn't sound great. Oh.
Hello?
You're wearing a mask.
A gander, perhaps? My wares are paltry, yet adequate.
Why are you doing business here? My mistress says squander not an opportunity, lest it fleet like a dream. Fancy a gander at my wares, or perhaps I could lend you your assistance. What do you got? Only esteemed wares for esteemed sirs. We can get stamina stimulants, resistance stimulants, intellect stimulants, sedatives, first aid kits, a sledgehammer. I probably want the sledgehammer, because if I were a betting man, I'd put all the gold teeth I have
Chilly out here, wouldn't you say?
on the fact that that sledgehammer will open all those problematic board doors we were looking at. You want help? My feet only grace this sodden town at the behest of my mistress, the Baroness. I was seeking information on dreams, but I've failed. I cannot return to my loveliness empty-handed. If I cannot appease her stellar mind, I will honor her effulgent beauty. A trio of gems, perhaps. I'm sure the miners took some home. Yeah, sure, if I find any gems, I'll help you out. I knew you emanated brilliance, though I do wish I found some dream knowledge. Do you crave anything else? Not at the moment. I'm happy enough to have found another place with a gramophone to fix my damaged sanity, and a save point to give me an anchor. Go ahead and make another lockpick, make another rag. And back out into the nightmares we go. At least for a bit longer. I'll probably wrap this one up at the 2-hour mark, and then we'll hop to the other one for a couple hours. This way you'll get an accurate sampling of how all this is without spoiling everything for you. So you can figure a lot of it out for yourselves if you decide to pick up the game, like it shows in the link down there. Oh, another card, the Sinner's card. Why it's just sitting here? Who knows? But out of the Sinner's card, we get the option of only 8, because the other 8 are not available to us due to lacking other skills for them. Because they're all improvements of the one next to them, basically. So we have Disciple, increase your occult level by 1. Healthy Fellow, passively restore health by 10% more while out of combat. Brawler, increase knuckles and armed melee damage by 25%. Talkative increases your speech by 1. Clear Mind gives you some insanity resistance. Agile, reduce the stamina consumption of melee attacks by 10%. Quick Fingered gives you 1 more lockpicking. And Tempered gives you a little physical resistance. Each of the ones beside them just do the same thing but double of that. So with our current stat line of 2 occult, 1 lockpicking, 0 speech, it may be in our best interest to get another hit of lockpicking, But if we get one more occult, I think we could spot those boons that I could not see through too as well. And I don't have to spend this card quite yet. I could just sit on it until we need something. But I'm feeling that lockpicking level give us better odds on slipping into places, perhaps. Because I feel like I'm going to need that at some point. Though a combat upgrade may have been a better choice based on the fact that we're not going to be keeping at this indefinitely. Our first bit of forced combat, I presume. Ow. Oh yeah, their reach is also a little longer than you might expect it to be. Bear in mind the stamina consumption when you take a hit on your weapon. Thankfully, they do at least get staggered when they get hit. Just gotta be very mindful of your stamina limits. Sometimes it also doesn't come back as quickly as you might need it to. Thankfully, the AI is a little bit stupid. So you can take advantage of that to your benefit as well. You know, typical strategies. Go places they can't get to and let them figure it out. Something's moving about. Sounds like a dog. Definitely a dog. I think it's down below, actually. No? At least it's not in the room with us down below, unless it's past this bit over here somewhere. Well, it's not in our immediate vicinity, so we can at least read the note in peace. I can't recall my name. She came last night. I wanted to be afraid, truly, but her voice was soft like Granny's. Her touch gentle, unlike Alan's. Over the past few hours, my hair has fallen out. So have my teeth. I'm hideous. I can't speak properly. I crave flesh, dripping and warm. I don't want to end up like the other women. Remember me. So they rot very quickly. And then they become hungry for flesh. That's worrying. You know what is less worrying, though? An axe. Well, worrying for others, perhaps.
What do we have here?
Aha! That gets me through the boards. Excellent. And I presume that will also aid me in combat more than the sickle would. I can definitely read some of that. The sea is something to us. It's either listening... Yeah, I think it's the sea is listening to us. I think that's what that says. Because that... The line right there makes it look like it says listening. The rest of them are just really hard to read. Like, different words in each of those lines are more readable than others. Now, the thing is, there's a dog waiting for me right down there. And I don't know if this is too far a drop or not. But I suppose I don't have much choice. Okay, it definitely does hit a little harder, because 2 hits took him down. Whereas it took 3 before. And what good swipe of the axe takes out the boards. No matter how many there may be. Now we're in the yellow house. Now, I don't remember all of the different entities and such in the mythos, but I do seem to recall that the King in Yellow does deal with a fair bit of rot. So again, that all starts to make sense. think there's something in here with me. I would say someone, but I don't think we really can define them as someone anymore.
Nearly as nice as Father's house. Huh. Seems out of place here.
Above? Above. Probably be in my best interest to deal with that first before looting this place, but I think a medical kit may be in our best interest first. You can get a bunch of ailments and such as well, by the way, so be careful when you take hits and be careful how much you use your resources as well. Because you can end up with ailments and have no means of getting rid of them. Dear JH, isn't this room nearly as nice as your father's house? Can you smell dinner? Your friend within can, very hungry. Perhaps if you look harder. Yours truly, a wanderer. So not only did that mirror what we were just saying, but it was addressed
Ghosts.
to us.
A lot of them.
That's a bit upsetting. And a guest that is hungry, and we need to look harder to see. I don't like the sound of that. That may mean something we actually can't see. I expected to see it right in there, but there was nothing there. We'll deal with that room in a second. I just want to make sure of the lay of the land around here before I commit to that decision. Thing is, I can definitely hear footsteps in here. I don't think it's just a witch wandering around out here. Nor is it anything wandering around in here because it was so loud. Like, it genuinely sounded like it was right next to me, or in this case, right above me, when we were down on the other floor. Frame rate's definitely having a rough go of it suddenly, though. So it's a good thing we'll be moving along. Oh yeah, it is just a witch. Neener, neener. Ow! You can get me through the door, huh? Okay. She seems to have forgotten I exist after getting that hit on me, though. And we're dead. All because that attack didn't land. That's a lot of progress lost right there. Is we're now back at the merchant. So I tell you what, I was gonna go for 2 hours on this, but we're gonna have to backtrack a fair bit. So I think I may actually just put a pin in it there? Maybe. I don't know, I don't really want to shortchange this one, though. Problem is, we did lose the axe, so we did lose, like, the biggest thing we've gained the entire time. Is we'd be able to, like, break through all of that. I mean, it's not super far. So it's not like it'd be the worst thing to backtrack to. Because all we have to do is go through there and do some stuff. Also, like, run around a little bit and see if there's, like, alternative means of having done what we did. Yeah, this is the doghouse. quite literally in this case. I wanted to close the door, but I can't get the interact to happen. And we're dead again. Just to demonstrate just how easily you can die if you're not careful. You know, it's the classic, okay, the first death is out of the way now. Trying as hard is not really necessary anymore. Because I was kind of hoping to actually avoid dying at all throughout this presentation for this. This is where the card was. I have to fight the witch up there. Under the circumstances, I think my statement about the combat card being the better choice for our circumstances rings so much truer now. Yeah, the fact that they only sometimes stagger is part of the issue I have with the combat of this game, though. A bit of consistency goes a long way with something like that. And obviously, you know, we're dealing with creatures here, so it's not unreasonable that they would be able to endure hits and not care about them. But it does make it harder to get a read on a situation if you hit them and you don't get the same results each time. And now we got the axe again. It's not like I said, it's not like we went that far. But in order to replicate exactly what we did, there would be a bit of work ahead of us. So, skimming the way we had gone, we obviously can get back there faster. Because I don't need to wait for things to happen. Because the witch that killed us is right up there. So since I'm not creeping around, I can just zoom my way right there. It felt way longer than this, but I think I also misjudged where the shop was relative to where we had gotten to. Which is why it was even a consideration to just bail. Four hits and you're still alive, huh? Or, well, I don't know if you're alive, really, but still. There we go. Yeah, the stamina reduction was a very good choice, because it allowed me to fit in an extra hit before they get a chance to respond. Gone are the days when she dreamed of cats. The child will not slumber. Her wailings has even ceased in the throes of her exhaustion. Oh, on the powers that be, I wish I could ward off what she sees once her lids droop. Behind them, her eyes dart as if watching gnats on the shore scum. Her tiny moon-pale hands rictus with demonic claws. No cooing of mine nor holy man can calm her. She will run herself sick if she doesn't sleep soon. Speech seems to have left her. Only sounds remain. I cannot bear it much longer. Gug, she cries. My poor child. Wait, isn't a Gug something? It's like Gug is actually like the name of something. Oh, there's a second one of you, huh? Well, that's upsetting. That is still such horseshit that she can hit me through the wall like that. Like, why even bother having doors if they don't do anything? But again, early access game, you know? Can't expect the world out of them. Everything else is at least very functional. Down she went. And I guess it would reduce the horror a little bit if they were easily stymied by just a door being slammed in their face as well. An emerald? That would be one of the gems I presume to give to the merchant. And for his lady. But I cannot help but notice we did not find what we sought here. We learned a few things, but we did not find what we seek inside the yellow house, so perhaps I was on the wrong track the entire time. Or I didn't spot it. This is a memoir. I've consigned myself to death. My wife has turned, my daughter dead. That witch in the church has killed nearly all my fellow men. But she's got another thing coming. The blacksmith has a plan. If only I were brave enough to assist his charge. So that's why the blacksmith ended up chained up where he is, then, I guess, is he was the only one who fought. So they punished him for fighting. We've got two exits. This way, and then out the other window over here. This window over here was the one most heavily guarded. Not this one, this one. Because there was one witch in the way over here, and there wasn't a witch in the way on the other side. Oh wow, you can actually, like, run around on this roof pretty well. I kind of expected more invisible walls up here, if I'm honest. So, you know, more power to them on that one. There's the witch ritual again. There's the dogs. I suppose the most important question is, why am I up here? Because there doesn't seem to be anything to gain by jumping over there, for example. I guess there's nothing to lose by jumping over here either. Oh no, there's a rag to be gained, I guess. Hooray. And another dead guy to get a better look at, which, you know, joyous day about that, right? So clearly my logic was flawed. Because I figured that the guarded path would be the path to success. It was actually the unguarded path that we wanted. If this even leads anywhere significant. Both of these could be leading us astray. But it certainly sounds like there's another witch in our near future here. Ooh, there's something glowing in there. Ah, mushrooms restore a small amount of sanity, huh? That doesn't seem right. Munch, munch. Crunch, crunch, go the herb. This way we have enough health to at least take the basic strikes. I think I saw movement. I think there's a witch walking back and forth out there. Ooh. That seems potentially magical. Oh, because it's the other tablet.
Such force. Like tiny needles in my skin. It's enticing.
Not sure if that's the word I'd use for tiny needles under my skin, Jack, but you do you, bud. Got a sedative. I was right that there was another witch in my near future. I could definitely sneak around them. But I feel like I'm gonna bump into them at an awkward time if I'm not careful. Here's another triangle key door. I say another because it would have to be a different one, right? It wouldn't be the same one. No, she does seem distracted. Doing something. Oh, eating flesh. Yeah, you have fun with that. You enjoy your meal. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go now. No, I'm not gonna stay for dinner. Okay, that leads back here, so perhaps I don't want to go that way. But opening that door will be useful as a shortcut in the future. And this one just leads here. Okay, so both of them just lead back. Missing Bert and Arthur, last seen chopping timber. Missing Baby Brasco, last seen at the mansion. Search party at dawn, meet at the tavern. Report any news. Missed that paper before. Well, we can get to the back of the blacksmith now. I guess let's follow through on that and just be very careful of the witch over here. Speaking of, actually. Here. Be distracted. I wonder if they are, like, legitimately some form of undead at this point. Would explain a few things. Looks like we might be safe back here.
Like this.
A which thing there, Jack? Because there's plenty of options for that one. We've definitely seen plenty of things like that. And I most assuredly regret opening that pathway. Let's see if the other one figures out what happened. Assume it's gonna come take a look. No, it's just chilling. Okay, you know what? You do you, bud. That's fine by me. Makes my life easier if he's not interested in checking out. Oh, what happened? God speaks, yeah. You do you once again. Fuck it. Whee! Oh. Help. Another bucket. I think we actually saw this barrel. I think we could have leveraged this barrel out of the way and gotten over here a different way. November 18th or 19th? Still saving up to see my Margaret in Arkham. Each sale adds up to my travel fund. I reread her letter recently. I miss my little one so much. Brag to the neighbors about what a clever girl she is. She's safer there. November 21st? That woman came by, even asked for a discount. Damn her. She'd probably ask for my daughter if she could get away with it. I hate her for taking away my love. I hate her for making my little one grow up without a father. I know it was her. Okay. That sounds potentially irrational with the little information we have, but we don't have context for anything yet, so maybe they are completely correct. Who knows? The amount of goodies on the shelf here indicate to me that I've not been here, even though this looks much the same as another building. Ah, because it's the back end of the blacksmith. Makes sense now. Saw a yellow light for a second there, but I think it might just be the glass. Unguarded back room, and there's the key. So he wasn't completely joking. Gumshoe Shack, tonight. Watch the dark trips you not. B. 11:30 lunar. Mother is like an owl. I must wait till she's truly dreaming. G. Marry me. You won't need to sneak then. B. One day, I promise. Remember, 11:30 lunar. So he was meeting up with somebody in secret. They weren't married to yet. A ramshackle yet joyful wedding. At the faded corner sits a flourished scroll, 11:30 lunar. Perhaps the shackled man wrote this. I guess maybe they actually managed to make the wedding happen. Journal. She's losing her mind. That female omen befell her in the dark folds. Bethan dreads those hags outside, but she's becoming more like them. Yet she remains my wife and always will, even in this state. I am sure we can overcome this sorrow together if I just keep her focused and safe. Guess he didn't really succeed there. But we can find out now. Got the key. And release me from this cruelty. Really don't... You want to just take the mask off, or is that stuck there? Damn, it feels swell to be out of them bonds. I thought she could twist my fate to her will. Ag's a fool. I have little, but take this. And now I must ask for your help once more. Greed and desperation. I mean, I'll hear you out. I'm kind of stuck here anyway, so helping you helps me, potentially. Bethan, my love, now I'm free. I fear for her safety. Agatha, this madness, she needs to hide. I'd go myself, but my legs are so weak. I don't really think anywhere here is particularly safe. Safety together. Tell her to go to the gumshoe shack, right of the mansion. She'll need convincing you're a friend, though. She's difficult. Agatha changed her. I can't persuade... Why would this be a persuade? He wants me to help her. He should be very willing to tell me something to convince her with. I shouldn't have to do any extra work to convince him to give me this information. He should be volunteering this information if he really wants me to solve this problem. I haven't seen her for a week, but she felt safer away from the trees, maybe the other edge of town. I understand she looks like them, but she's still my Bethan. She's a soldier. I got bad news for you. If it was at the end of town, not near trees, I might have hit her with an axe already. Just want to prepare you for that possibility. I can't. Agatha feeds off cherished memories. Maybe there's a remnant of our bond in this cell of mine. Let me know if you find anything. It may jog my memory. Oh, I know exactly what to use. No, not that. Not the note either. I would figure one of those would be something to bring. His B is clearly Bethan. Or the 1130 lunar on the painting. Then again, he does say his cell. So maybe there's something specifically in this room that I need to use for that. Close this door before bad things happen to both of us, shall we? Kind of surprised that there wasn't a reaction when I let him free. Ah, there we go. I just needed to ping it again for him to react to it. 11:30 lunar. It was the time we used to secretly meet at the lighthouse under the night skies. She'll know it's from me. Bingo, there we go. I just tell her 11:30 lunar. What can you tell me around here? I've lived on these shores all my life, so yes, I'd like to think I'm well versed, for better or worse. What the hell's going on here? Sheer insanity has populated my hometown. I've kept to my mettle, but the miners delivered tales. Over and over they spoke of weird rocks. Then they changed. Ralph was the first. Pupils wide like a snuff, claimed of visions, end times. Luckily, they all lived here. That kind of talk goes straight to the bin in Arkham. Born and bred from the mist, that's what Ma used to say. Took over the smithy and the rest is history. Where do you hail from? Arkham? No, overseas. England, but I flip between the two. Ah, I knew you had that English misery in you. One of the miners, Fred, was English, I think. Always sounded like he was speaking in tongues. Okay, so we learned a few things. Specifically, the source of all of this shit came up from the mines. Means my entire theory could be going out the window as we speak. Just gonna run for it. Because we're almost at time anyway. Thankfully, they don't seem to be very fast, so actually, yeah, that is a perfectly good answer to dealing with them, is just to run. For some reason, I thought they could run too, but I guess not. I think I just misjudged their speed because they kept hitting me at distance. So I misconstrued that with them being able to move quickly. When it's just reach. Ooh, a book about dreams. Wednesday 11th. 2 ml. Oh, wow, I'm skipping in the lilac fields every time I close my eyes. The sap is a miracle. Yellow lotus coined and discovered by Dr. Marie Sims. Must relax. My heart cannot take this excitement. I've almost finished my book, Chasing Dreams. Friday 13th. Philippe has stolen a key part of my work. There was a slight tussle over my book, resulting in torn pages and a torn heart. Jealousy has always worn him. I'll sneak into his warehouse when I feel well. Science cannot be stopped. So I guess there's a page missing from the book before you can turn it in. You probably have to get the missing page. Otherwise, we'd be able to get up there. But I guess you can get back down from there, and then you exit through here from somewhere else. They did a good job interconnecting everything around here, which obviously, you know, it's all within the span of a town. So interconnecting, it's not the most massive of tasks, but making it flow fairly natural is actually a big thing, and they've done a pretty good job here. I've not felt too confused or like I have to go too far out of my way to get around anywhere. Our inventory is getting quite full, so let's clean that up a little bit. The scrap metal is the chief issue there, and we can also put the knife away. It's not like we need it anymore. Sedative is large amount of sanity, that makes sense. It's unfortunate that you do need specifically to get the recipes for things, because I could definitely think of a few things to use a bunch of the stuff we picked up for. Like, for example, the rag and the alcohol. You make a Molotov just fine. I mean, the boards and the scrap metal could make a fair few different things. Yeah, we could even make a bridge out of some of these boards and sharp enough pieces of scrap driven through them. It wouldn't be good and it wouldn't hold for long, but it would hold long enough for us to get up somewhere. It's a shame we didn't get all 3 tablets during these 2 hours. And it's honestly kind of funny to me that I missed the first tablet somewhere. Because the first tablet was in here. And I think I literally just walked past it somewhere. So I'm pretty sure we've been in that building. And obviously this whole process would have went faster if I was reusing the map over and over. But I just kind of went with the flow, and it went pretty well either way. Would have been interesting to see the mines and see these crystals that caused all of this. But that's something y'all can find on your own. When did I pick up another card? I don't remember picking up a card. But I probably grabbed it while other things were happening. And then just promptly forgot I had it. And unfortunately, the merchant's at the other end of town. Otherwise, I'd run back there and see if I could turn the book in. We've only got a couple minutes left on the time I intended for this. So I think we will pack it in for this one and swap over to the next one. Because most anything else I would do at this point would be too much of a commitment to be able to conveniently jump, you know? So the page for this game one more time, right there. And this does seem to be a good time. If you're into this type of game and you've got a machine that can handle this, I think you'd have a good time with it. Whether I'll play more of it, that'll depend. I'll probably wait till it comes out of early access, which I do not have a timetable on that. I will say, for those who are curious about the future for this game, even on the store page, it shows a gun being used and such, and obviously we saw gunpowder. So you will be getting firearms and a bunch of other tools to use if you're worried about the amount of options you'll have. But with that said, let's go ahead and get set up for the next one. And as an extra reminder, just in case anybody missed that information, this was given to me through the service Lurkit, so take that as you will. And same goes for the next one coming up here in a moment. which I will be repeating myself about that here in a second, just to make sure it's in the other section. Because these will be split into 2 separate VODs for YouTube later. I just need to quickly go get the info for the next game typed